So now I'm going to go ahead and read this whole thing through, so you can get a sense for a little bit of what the meter sounds like, and what some of that elision sounds like, and just because it's interesting, and then we'll go into the translation. So, starting again from the beginning. Storax, non rediit hac nocta cain aescinus, neque servulorum quisquam quorcierant, profectoque redigunt, si absis uspiam altivici casses, e venire satius est quam tuxor dicit et quin animo cogita tirata, quilla quae parentes propitii. Uxor, si casses aut tamara cogitat, aut te tamara potarat quanum obsequi, et tibi bene soli, cum sibi sit male. Ego, quia non rediit filius, quae cogitet quibus nunc solicitor rebus, nautil lauserit aut uspiam, que quiderit aut praefregerit aliquid. Va, quimquam nomen in anim instituat ad parare, quod sit carius quipsest sibi? So you see, it's hard to catch all the elision, and I'm sure I missed one up there or two. Potarat quantum obsequi. Yeah, I think I didn't pronounce. I wasn't paying close enough attention. This I believe should be 2 long syllables. So profectoque vere dicunt. Pronunciation is always going to be something I think us as native English speakers or any other language speakers are going to struggle with. And in these, once you escape like the elementary texts, your vowels aren't going to be marked anymore. So it becomes more difficult to pronounce correctly. I think did I pronounce subsis? Siabsis? I don't remember. That should have been elided there, subsis, because the I there at the end of the word, and the next word starts with the vowel. Okay, so let's run through the translation, and then we'll call it good. I don't know how long we've been doing this for, but okay. So Mikio is the one talking, and then this first word is actually not it's somebody's name, presumably a servant of his, Mikio's servant. Storax, he's calling for Storax. I'm thinking Storax doesn't appear. But maybe he shows up and Mikio's narrating all this to Storax. I'm not sure. So, non rediit hac nocta cain aescinus. So, aescinus is the name of his son, his adopted son. He's the subject of the sentence. He's in the nominative. Did not return. This is a syncopated perfect tense of redire. I think you call it syncopation when we just cut out the V. So the normal form is rediuit. Well, I shouldn't say it's a normal form because this is the normal form, but the more like if we're say in an elementary dictionary or just dictionaries in general, you'll be given the rediui as a third principal part. I think often with that V in like a parentheses, because maybe presumably that V used to be there, but just over time, speaking quickly, that V just kind of disappeared. So it's part of it, or it used to be, but this is the normal perfect form that you'll see for verbs with ire. So redire, ire, perire, obire, any of those. That's the normal perfect form. So Aeschylus did not return. Hac nocta cena. So he did not return last night from dinner. So Aeschylus has gone to a dinner somewhere. Hac nocte is in the ablative. The technical ablative name, I guess you could give this, I think, is the ablative of time within which, and there's kind of like an implied in or something. He did not return in this night, this being presumably the most recent night. And we can do that with ablatives. And again, it's like there's an implied in this night. And it's called the ablative of time within which. Okay, so neque servulorum quis quier vos ierant. So the first actually foot of this is a anapest. Neque ser da da da. Nor did any of the servants who, relative pronoun, matching quisquam, who had gone. So this is the same thing I was talking about. Normally, or in the past, there was a V there, um, as like the perfect stem, but the V is gone now. So this is uh, the pluperfect form, third person plural pluperfect, active indicative. Who had gone ad versum. This is like against. So this line in particular is a little bit odd. Nor did any of the servants who had gone against. I can't remember. I should stop and say the a lot of this information that I know about this play I didn't just figure out on my own. I have had a lot of great teachers, and there are also great commentaries out there that I've read. In particular, I have, let's see here, this one by R.H. Martin is pretty good, and I think it's him, or I read this maybe in the dictionary entry for adversum at some point. To go against is maybe kind of an idiom, sort of. So the servants who had gone against means the servants who had gone to go looking for him, and that's just like an idiomatic expression. To send somebody against is to send somebody back to go find Aeschylus wherever he is. So neither Aeschylus returned nor any of the servants who had gone looking for him is the sense of the sentence. Profecto quere dicunt. Certainly, this is an adverb, profecto, and we're alighting because the next word starts with an H. Profecto quere dicunt. Certainly, they say, they being the people, say this thing, the object of dicunt, truly. So this is kind of a mantra of his time that he's about to lay out for us. Si absis uspiam aut ibisi keses. If you should be gone, we have a present subjunctive here with the verb absum, and where Terence is using the present subjunctive because he's conveying a condition. I think you call it a future less perfect. Or sorry, not future less perfect, future less vivid. So it's like we can often translate those kinds of things with should. So should you ever be gone? Uspiam being ever. So if you should ever be gone, or so the conjunction out, or ibi si keses, or if you should tarry or kind of linger in that place too long, ibi being there. And this is also a present subjunctive of the verb cessare, which means to linger or to tarry somewhere. E venire ea satius est. This satius est means it is better, or it is preferable, and then we have basically an accusative infinitive construction. That is what it is, not just basically. So it is better that those things, ea, accusative, e venire, infinitive. It is better that those things happen, or these things happen, the things he's about to lay out for us. So if you should ever be gone, or if you should linger in that place, it is better that these things should happen. This is a similar construction, by the way, to like, say, necesse est or mirum est. We have that construction, and then an accusative, and then an infinitive. So it is better that these things should happen. What things? It is better that quin tuxor dicit et quin animo cogitat errata, quam illa quae parentes propitii. So the relative pronoun quin teuxor dicit, those things which your wife says in you, or like against you, and which she thinks in her heart. And irata is an adjective modifying uxor. We could translate it like an adverb almost. So which she angrily thinks in her heart, or what she thinks in her heart being angry. Quam, than, so it is better than those things which propitius is an adjective that means like, it means like generous or overly generous, lax. So the sense of this sentence, I'll kind of try to back up here now. It is better that those things happen, or it would be better that those things happen, which a wife says and which she thinks in her heart angrily, or when she is angry, than those things that like overly generous parents say or think in their heart when they're angry. And it is interesting that he makes this comparison to a wife because Mikio does not have a wife. So he's going to continue on. Uxor, so this is what an uxor would do if you linger somewhere. Uxor, si keses, if you should linger, aut te amare cogitat, aut te tamara potarat quam obsequi. So she either, this is like an either or, out. She either thinks cogitat, with an accusative infinitive indirect statement, she either thinks you to be loving, or you, te is just like a geminated te for emphasis. Te tamare, and this is the passive infinitive. So she either thinks you're loving or being loved. In other words, I think the wife is going to be suspicious of an affair if you delay, if you're not back when you say you're going to be. A wife thinks that you're loving or being loved or drinking, potare, or actually this is the conjunction and. Animo obsequi is kind of an idiom. It means, literally to follow your heart, or like being self-indulgent, basically. So if you're not back when you say you are, if you're tarrying somewhere, she either thinks you're loving, you're being loved, you're drinking, and you're just being self-indulgent. At tibi bene esse soli means, and to you, tibi dative, soli, despite what it looks like, soli is actually a dative form and not a genitive form. And there's certain adjectives in the first, second declension group that look like that. For example, alius is another adjective that does that. So this is a dative matching tibi. And and to you alone, it is good. And we're still infinitive because of cogitat is the main verb there. Quum, conjunction, spelled kind of weird, and it's spelled weird to distinguish between the conjunction and the preposition being spelled cum. And Quintilian, I think, makes a remark somewhere about making that distinction in spelling so that the reader can easily distinguish between the preposition cum, and the conjunction cum. Here, the conjunction cum, and I assume they're pronounced almost exactly the same, if not the same. This is like an adversative cum, so kind of like the causal, but I think that's what it's called, the adversative. So even though it is bad, male an adverb, bad to her. So she thinks that it is good for you alone and bad for her because the husband's out drinking and being loved and being self-indulgent. Okay, we're getting close. Ego quia non redi id filius quae cogit quibus nunc sol licitor rebus. So I, because my son has not returned, filius, these things I am thinking, and it is by these things, quibus rebus. In comic poetry, the poets like to get rid of that final S to help them fit the meter, because if we hadn't had an S here, it would have made that syllable long, which Terence didn't want to do. And I assume if you're speaking quickly, that S in Latin wasn't very audible at all. So we just put that apostrophe there. Like it should be there, but we're not really pronouncing it. Quibus nunc. So this is another anapes. Quibus nunc. Quibus nunc. And it is by which things I am now being bothered. These things like the things that he's thinking about. So him thinking about his son being gone. He's making the comparison between his son being gone and a wife whose husband has not returned. And the things that she's thinking about are the same things that he's thinking about because his son is gone. Okay, now delauserit. So these are the things he's afraid of. And this is ne with an implied verb of fearing. Although I guess the solicitor is kind of the fearing verb. So I am troubled, lest he either, this is the perfect subjunctive of augeo, augere, which means to be cold. So lest he got cold somewhere, or ke kidaris is the perfect of kado, which means to fall. So lest he got cold, or he fell somewhere, or praefrango, perfect subjunctive again, broke something, praefregerita liquid. And I'm not sure if he's talking about, I've always read this as broke a bone, and now that I'm thinking about it, if that's the case, then the order of things is actually reversed. So he would have fallen, and then he would have broke something, and then he would have just frozen over or something. And that rhetorical device is called husteron proton. I think it means the last first. So the order of events is actually mixed up here. If that's what he's intending. Okay, so here's that strange. This is an accusative of exclamation. So quem quam nomen in anim instituerat parare quod sit carius quam ipse est sibi. And then this exclamation wa, and there could be just a exclamation point there. So wa, just like in English, I guess. Does any man, or I almost read this like can any man, kind of a rhetorical question. Can any man instituere, which is means to form, or parare, prepare something in his heart, which is more dear than he is to himself. So the sense of the sentence being, is it possible that human beings are capable of, the way I'm reading it is it possible that human beings are capable of loving something more than they love themselves? Yeah. Okay. I think that's all I have to say on this. I feel like that was a little bit long-winded, but hopefully I've given you some good information here. And I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to close it out. Have a good one. Bye.